Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here, hope you're doing well. Today's video is a Women Be Very Afraid video, and this is incredibly sad and very, very big trigger warnings here. This is from the Manchester Evening News, and the story is by Ann Cusack and Ramazani Mwamba. My boyfriend left me paralysed and fighting for life after I caught him cheating. First of all, just the heading. Why is she the one that is fighting for life when he was cheating? It just doesn't make sense, does it? A woman has been left paralysed after her ex punched her in the head when she caught him cheating. Chloe Beecham, 30, suffered a life-changing stroke after her former partner, Henry Boulton, attacked her. Boulton, 29, hit Chloe so hard that her carotid artery in her neck was dissected, leaving her with a brain injury. When Chloe was rushed to hospital, her panic-stricken family was warned she might not survive. At the time, hospital staff did not know the cause of Chloe's injuries, and Boulton was allowed to visit her bedside. Can you imagine? I watch a lot of paranormal and horror movies, and what if she was on some level aware of him being there and aware of what he'd done, and she had no way of communicating that this is the person that actually caused this? Can you imagine the fear that she would have been going through inside if she knew? And I really do think that on some level, those people that are in a coma or who are, passing, are aware of what's going on around them. I really do think that. In one instance, Boulton would go on to text Chloe, "I'm struggling," as she fought for her life. He's struggling. He's the one that did this, but no, he's struggling. It's all about him, isn't it? It's all about the perpetrator. It's never about the victim. Chloe was completely paralysed down the right side of her body and could not walk or talk after the attack. She spent 3 months in 4 different hospitals undergoing rehabilitation. She has made great progress, but her life has been shattered. Yeah. She's young as well. 30 years old. All because he cheated on her, and yet she's the one who has now, her entire life has been ruined by this man and his disgusting behaviour and treatment of women. This is why women are afraid of men. This is why women choose the bear. Because men often react this way when they know they're guilty, when they know that they've done something wrong. It's the victim blaming. It's trying to turn it around on the other person. Chloe was completely paralysed down the right side of her body and could not walk or talk after her attack. I've said that already, apologies. She still struggles to speak and suffers with aphasia caused by her brain injury. That's a loss of memory. It's a loss of certain things, being able to do certain things. So there's a couple of parts in the brain, the Wernicke region for one, where if that is damaged, we can't remember to do certain things, or we can't speak, and we have to then be rehabilitated, and the brain rewires itself so that the person can start doing those things again. But it takes time, it takes recovery, and it's not always 100%. The brain is a very delicate organ in the body. She needed the help of a speech therapist to make a police statement, and her mother, Leslie, 49, supports her with communication now. Imagine not being able to speak and talk and communicate in the way that you used to, all because some disgusting man did that to you after they had cheated. She suffers with chronic fatigue, meaning she is often confined to bed for days and struggles to walk. She cannot tie her own shoelaces or do her own hair and relies on Leslie to cut up her food at meal times. Boulton was jailed for 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. After he did that to Chloe, her entire life is devastated, and he gets 3 years. Where is the justice? Her family is devastated at the length of his imprisonment. They have now been told he will be eligible for early release after serving just 7 months. Men who do this, in my opinion, should never be released, because he is going to do it again to another woman. He is going to do it again. Chloe, 30, says, I knew Harry was cheating, and that night I had decided to end the relationship. He flew into a rage and punched me so hard that the pain in my head was unbearable. I'm lucky to be alive, but I've been left with permanent disabilities. I have seizures and I suffer weakness down my right side. I have severe problems with my speech and mobility. Before the attack, I had a good job, my own home, a car, and lots of friends. Harry took all that away from me overnight. There just is no justice that can, help this woman and get her back to her where she was before. And after 7 months, he's going to be released. 7 months. 7 months, and she has a lifetime of this. A lifetime of this. I'm reliant on my family to look after me. I will keep fighting, but I will never get back to how I was before. 3 years in jail feels like an insult. He is eligible for early release soon. There is no end in sight to my injuries. How can this be right or fair? I agree. It's not right. It's not fair. Not at all. The law really needs to change around these kind of awful attacks on women and the men who perpetrate them. There needs to be a greater sentence. How is it fair? It's not. Chloe and Boulton met on Tinder in 2018, and at first their relationship went well. She says, he bought me clothes and shoes and we went out lots. I really fell for him. Harry wanted to move things along quickly and talked of buying a house together. I wanted him to slow down. Now that is a big red flag. He was love bombing her, buying her clothes and shoes. I personally would not want a potential boyfriend to buy me clothes and shoes, flowers, chocolates, take me on dates, sure, but clothes and shoes, that's a bit too personal, I think. And he was talking about buying a house together. That is a control. It's a coercive control method. Buy a house together and then I can control you. Then, you're under my thumb. But a couple of months in, his behaviour changed. Chloe says he picked fault at me all the time. I worked shifts as a manager and I loved my job, but Harry complained about my hours and said he was lonely, and so I changed them. See, she's the one that had to change for him. He couldn't change for her. She had to do the changing. Then he said none of his family and friends liked me, and he really knocked my confidence. He said he wanted to keep seeing me as long as we kept it secret. I was hurt, but I really liked him. There's something else. Ladies, if you come across this kind of thing where he's saying he wants to keep it secret, he's cheating. There's something else going on. I know it's easy to say leave and move on. I know it's easy to say that because they have trauma bonded you to them through all of their coercive control, and you think that they love you. But they don't. They are trying to keep you in this place so that you will do what they want you to do. They want to have their cake and eat it too. I didn't see that. He was just being cruel, chipping away at my self-esteem so he could treat me badly. The couple continued seeing each other on and off, but Chloe was not allowed to socialise with Harry's friends or go to his home in Sale. I mean, you know, that is, again, no, you can't go out with me, you can, you know, he is creating this space where only she and he can be together. She's not allowed to be part of his life. That, again, is a big red flag. She says, he kept saying he loved me and he was nearly ready to commit and move in together, but in reality, he was cheating on me all the way through. I started to suspect he was seeing other girls, but when I confronted him, he was violent. He pushed me up against a wall one night. Another time, he dragged me by my foot from the bottom of the stairs. And they will do that. And I can guarantee that he probably said, I'm sorry, babe, I'll never do that again. He wanted her, and he wanted the girl that he was cheating on her with. And he thought he could get away with it. And in effect, he has. Whilst I was sitting next to him, I saw him messaging another girl on Snapchat, and he split my lip open when I asked about her. I didn't know what to do. I felt very isolated and confused. I couldn't tell anyone about the violence because nobody even knew we were in a relationship. This is why it is so important to realise that when a man wants you to do something like that, that he is trying to control you. And ladies, always make sure that you're in touch with some other friend in your life and that you tell them this is what's going on. Hopefully that friend will tell you to leave. Hopefully. Even my own family didn't know I was still seeing him. Harry kept me hanging on all the time, like I was supposed to be grateful for the attention he gave me. I'd never seen myself as a victim of domestic abuse, and it just didn't register when you are in the middle of it. You can't see it. You can't. You can't. You think that you're the one that's doing something wrong. And I'm pretty sure that that's how she felt, that she was the one that was in the wrong. In December 2022, the couple argued about after Boulton went to Edinburgh to celebrate his birthday. She says, he told me he needed to go away on his own for some peace, but then I found photos and messages which showed he was with a girl. Surely, if you are in a relationship with somebody and it's your birthday, that you want to be with the person that you're in a relationship with. Surely. We were in bed in my flat and I was very calm. I picked up his phone and asked him about the girl. I was worried he was going to lose his temper and I locked myself in the bathroom. But he promised he'd stay reasonable and so I came out. There were messages from other girls on his phone too. I wanted the truth from him. I'd realised he was never going to change and we needed to separate. But in the living room, Chloe says Boulton erupted with rage and punched her several times to the back of her head, neck and face. She says I was screaming at him to stop, that he was hurting me. I immediately felt the blood rushing in my neck and my eyes swelled up immediately. My head was throbbing. I felt so ill. I went back to bed and asked Harry to sleep on the couch. During the night, Boulton left the flat, and despite Chloe not responding, she claims he made no effort to check on her or call for help. She says, I didn't sleep, I was in so much pain. The following morning I felt horrendous, but I was on autopilot. I covered my black eye with makeup and went to work. But my right arm was weak and felt funny. I had a massive headache. Her colleagues became alarmed when she began dropping things and dragging her right foot, and they took her to hospital. Chloe was transferred to Salford Royal Infirmary, a specialist stroke unit, where doctors established her stroke was due to an almost severed carotid artery following trauma. Her family travelled from Lincolnshire to be at her bedside. Boulton, meanwhile, visited Chloe in hospital, telling staff he was devastated by her collapse. He was the cause of it. How could he? How could he be so two-faced? He knew he'd done that to her. He knew he was the reason for her being so ill. But he made it all about himself. He also texted Chloe, who was by now unconscious, telling her, "I'm struggling, and do you still love me? Are you still mad at me?" You see, again, it's all about him, isn't it? It's all about him. Even though he's got other girlfriends and chatting to other girls, no, he wants the one that he can control, or that he thinks he can control, the one that he almost unalived. Chloe suffered a massive seizure overnight and her family was warned she might die. Doctors discovered the stroke was trauma-induced and Boulton admitted to Leslie only that he had pushed Chloe. And he's only been given 3 years and he's been lying about this. I mean, again, where is the justice for women who go through this? There isn't any. It is so one-sided. We live in this patriarchal world where men get away with this kind of thing all the time. 3 years is nothing. It really is nothing. She has to go through this for the rest of her life. The rest of her life. He was arrested and Chloe was placed under police guard. It was later established he had punched Chloe. Leslie says, "Chloe was in and out of consciousness. We didn't know if she was going to survive. We didn't want her to know the police were involved because she was too ill." On Christmas Eve, she was transferred to a hospital in Lincolnshire near her family home, and 1 month on, she was able to say to her mother, "Harry, phone, punch, stroke." Leslie says it was so emotional. She'd been waiting all this time to tell us he had attacked her. See what I said earlier about she wasn't able to communicate this. She was, he was being the caring boyfriend, is she going to be okay? And yet he couldn't come out and tell them the truth, that it was his fault. He'd done it. And yet he gets 3 years and release after 7 months. Chloe faced a long and grueling recovery. She could not walk or talk or look after herself in any way, and her right side was badly affected by the stroke. She was also diagnosed with epilepsy and began suffering seizures. Chloe is now too anxious to leave her home as she is unable to communicate with other people and becomes confused when telling the time and dealing with money. Heartbreakingly, she has to ask for assistance when texting her friends, meaning she has no privacy or independence. She can no longer read easily, which is a hobby she used to love. I adore reading, obviously, and to me that's my solace, picking up a book, quietness, stillness, a cup of tea and reading. And she can't even do that. Even though she has made great progress, she has been diagnosed with aphasia and she has ongoing health problems, including a weakness down her right side. She cannot use her right hand, needs a splint to help her walk, and needs Botox injections every 3 months to prevent spasticity. She has had to learn everything from scratch: walking, talking, counting, telling the time, learning her colours. She has ongoing physio, speech and occupational therapy. It takes great effort and concentration for her simply to complete a sentence. Leslie says, "My daughter was fit, healthy and independent with her whole life ahead of her, and he took it all away. I was helping her learn her colours one day in hospital when we got an email from Harry via the police asking us for his aftershave back from Chloe's flat. It was just unbelievable. How could anyone be so callous?" He wasn't just being callous. He was trying to find out what was going on. He was trying to push a little bit further, trying to let Chloe know that he's still there, he's still thinking about her, and perhaps he still loves her. So still trying to that little bit of control. Boulton, an accountant, appeared before Manchester Crown Court in April and pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of wounding without intent. He was jailed for 3 years. Despite all she has been through, Chloe hopes to eventually work with domestic abuse survivors. So many of us want to. So many of us want to. Chloe says, I was so disappointed by the sentence. My whole life has been shattered. I miss my job, my car, my home and my friends. I would like to have children one day. I'd like to travel. I'd like to further my career. None of that will happen. My focus now is on raising awareness of strokes in young people, but mostly important of the devastating impact of domestic abuse. Please don't stay with someone until they hit you so hard that they nearly kill you. And I know that that is far easier said than done. So many of us who have been in this situation know how hard it is to leave. I've had wonderful support from the police and rehab staff, and me and my family are extremely grateful to them all. Help is out there. Please don't stay silent. It could cost you your life. My heart goes out to Chloe and her family, and I hope that she is able to regain some control of her life and do the things that she wants to. And I really hope that Boulton gets his just desserts. Guys, if you're in this situation, please, please, please seek help from Women's Aid or a refuge centre. I will leave some numbers in the description box below for you to contact if you need to. But don't stay, because they won't change. They never do. They may say it, but they never will. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you next time. Blessed be.